system, it costs too much, because if you put that here, Home Depot then has to sell it for like what, $200, and the market won't pay it. You see?
Yes.
So then the battle begins. How are we going to get this number down to this? So I said, first of all, you can make your like operational changes. So they show you some analysis of changing the batch size to 60 because it used to be 40. Up here, the batch size is 40. And there are the same amount of unique parts that they had originally. So this is copied from the previous tab. This thing down here, they just put it up here so you could see it a second time. Right? We're trying to get this number down to this number. So part A is changing the batch size to 60. And you find out that you kind of shave off $4 there, which is great. But still, 65 doesn't match 6110. So you're like, okay, fuck. Like, we have to keep going. And then here, when you reduce the unique product quantity from 10 to 8, you get even lower, which is great. You know, cost difference to target is now only $3.32 versus $4.30. But these still don't match. So now this is last case scenario, but this is like, I would say, the bulk of the problem for this class. You're going to have to go from this 6442 to 6110. And you do that by doing the survey thing. So your customers are going to fill out a survey based on the features that they care about the most, because your customers don't think in terms of motor, blades, and shaft. They're like, I don't care what kind of motor it is. I don't care what blades it is. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. But what they do care about are the features. So according to the survey, silent operation for a fan is extremely important. In real life, that might not be true, because people actually like the fact that fans make noise, for like white noise. 7 for variable speed. You know, they want to be able to change the speed, but ultimately, like, that's not make or break. Low maintenance. Fans aren't usually so expensive that, you know, if it breaks, it's like you just get a new one. So maybe that's why this is this. And appearance is actually a 5. So it's like they don't really care if it's ugly or not. They just need it to do its job. So what you end up doing is you take these survey scores and you divide them from the total, and you get the percent of the overall component, like of the overall fan. Customers think that 1/3 of the fan and its benefits are the silent operation. Now, you, the company, knows how the features are made up by the components. Sorry, I said that kind of weird. You know how the features are made by the components, right? This is given to you. This is given to you. This is given to you. You have to calculate this. So you, the company, knows that silent operation is 60% responsible by the motor, and that blades is responsible for 40%. So you just multiply it across. So this 33.3 splits into this and this. And when you add down, you find out how much the customer is caring about the motor, blades, and shaft versus the silent operation, variable speed, low maintenance, and appearance. So kind of like ABC costing, where you go from like people to activities. It's the same type of translation in a matrix. So once you figure out what the customer actually values each part for, again, the customer doesn't know they're actually rating the parts. They only know they're rating the features. But once you find out like what parts of the fan the customer actually cares about, you're going to compare the value percentages to the cost percentages. Because currently, the blades take up 32.9% of the cost, but the customer only cares about these blades and sees them as 26.3% of the overall value. So you are going to cut costs according to the value that the customer sees, and you're going to reinvest costs where they're available. So these two cost reductions, because 17.8 went down to 10, 32.9 went down to 26.3, those get translated down immediately. If you were to translate down the 63.7%, see how it went up? from the original cost percent. If you translate that down, you end up at the same cost, like the same direct cost for making the fan. And that's no good because you're trying to cut costs. So what you do is you actually solve for remaining space. You take the ones that were cost cut and you drop them in 960, 365. You set the bottom at 6110 because that's what it has to be, yes or yes. And then you just solve for the motor. And that's how you figure out the last one. You solve for the missing value, the reinvestment, not cost reduction one. And so your final answer will be, okay, after all this target costing analysis, we found out that we need to have a 26.3% reduction in the blades. We need to have a 10% reduction in the shaft. And for the motor, we're going to reduce that down, or we're actually going to reinvest up to this number because that's how much space we have. Turns out customers care more about the motor than we thought they did. We're going to reinvest a little bit of our money here accordingly. And the way that you can cut costs is by changing manufacturers, using different materials, things like that. So it's a lot, but it is very predictable and the process really can't change. So if you print this out and just run through it several times, I think you'll be okay. I also think, like I was saying, like the colors are going to help you. So maybe if you don't have a color printer, just like remove the colors and then go through with highlighters or something like that.
Okay, another question that popped into my head while you were explaining this. Do you know how retailers get people to answer surveys?
Sometimes they'll ask you at checkout. Sometimes they'll send you an email if you ordered it online, you know. Sometimes they'll text it to you if you're like a member of their store.
For you,
review stuff.
For you personally, what will motivate you to answer a survey?
Coupons. So sometimes there's a cost to doing the survey.
Mm. Do big companies do this automatically? Like they're looking at everything like this constantly?
I don't know if they're looking at it constantly, but if there's a mismatch, you know, say that the market price for fans just changed. Because maybe they originally sold it to Home Depot for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe where this 6110 was, the 6965 was. And the retail price used to be something closer to 200. But if the market suddenly shifts because a competitor was able to do it for less, that means you now have to do it for less. Mm-hmm. Because they're not going to bother carrying your thing when it's not even selling anymore.
Do you think this goes like this whole process gets kind of a bit negated when you're talking about maybe like luxury goods or a more premium product where you kind of have more price inflation, I guess, to certain things? Like a $3 shirt can be sold for like $300-400.
Yeah, if you're talking about like general swag,
mm-hmm.
and perfumes and makeup, that's how most luxury brands make their money, is like general swag and fragrance and cosmetic, like those divisions of their company. When it comes to the more expensive things like handbags, shoes, and like other clothes, mm-hmm. those different components, those leathers, those treatments, those dyes, all those things, I mean, those are really expensive. Because if there's suddenly a shortage of alligators because hunting rules changed in Africa, mm-hmm. you know, no more alligator, that price is going to go up. And you're going to have to figure that out. And maybe you stop using real alligator and you just start doing like an embossed cow leather or something. You know, those are the decisions that you start to make.
Interesting. Okay.
That was a lot, but I'm going to